Okay, back to the topic at hand. Now, I was just discussing how Japanese people do not kiss in public. Japanese relationships are not as intense as maybe other countries' relationships. Take, for example, my high school. I remember a point in time where I saw two girls just making out in the hallways. Now, of course, it wasn't like permitted. You can't just kiss in the hallway. The teachers would stop them, um, they're just not like they're not propelled to do that here. You will not see a couple usually hanging out with each other at high school. Like if they're holding hands, I mean, oh my lord. I mean, the whole school would be like, "Oh, you see that? You see what they're doing?" Everybody would know about it. So even here, like I usually, it's usually the younger couples. They'll hold hands when they're walking outside. You'll see it. Like if you go to Tokyo, but on campus, college, you will not see people giving kisses or giving hugs. Goodbye to their GFs, their lady friends. Um, People play video games like crazy on the trains. You'll just see PSPs. You'll see like salarymen sitting on the trains with suits, just playing like PSP or the DS. They'll even be standing up and there's no seats. They'll just be like, yeah, 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 Monster Hunter, yeah. And there's a lot of people that do that, play video games on the trains. And even not on the trains, I mean, if they're like walking or something, it's not uncommon to see a Japanese guy going through some gamey poos. Japanese people love trannies, transsexuals. I think it's a new fad or a new popular thing. I don't know. There's a bunch of shows. They call them new hafu, new halves. So I'll be sitting here watching TV with little homie Miyoko, aka little homie, and she'll be like, "Oh, that's a guy right there," and I'll say, "No, no, it's not. It's a lady. She's a lady. She's very pretty," and she'll say, "No, that is a man." So there's a lot of, and you know what? Japanese guys are so. That brings me on to my next point. I'll kind of like, Japanese guys are so skinny, so skinny. Um, a lot of them, they don't know how to cook, so a lot of the times, like, I don't know if they don't know how to cook, so they're not eating. They only wait until their mom makes dinner or something, but they are unbelievably skinny. Um, Now you'll see the sports guys, like the rugby guys, they're kind of like, oh, they're big guys. So it's surprising to see these big guys compared to all, and it's not just like, it's not, because like everybody, like every single guy here is just so skinny. But back to like, I was trying to like work that in is that Japanese guys are so skinny and like female like that it's so easy for them to like transform into these beautiful ladies because they look like ladies already. And it's really hard. There's been many traps where I'll be with the Yamazaki gang and it'll be like, "Oh, check that out." And then it turns around and it is a dude. So they love trannies. Japanese guys are skinny. Um, yeah, going on to the skinny thing, it's not just the Japanese guys, it's the Japanese girls. And, you know, like, yeah, I like ladies that have some curves. And Japanese girls' butts, they're just not good. They're just not doing it for me. Like, if you come from a place that's got a lot of curves and you go to a place that doesn't have curves, you're kind of like let down. And I think, one of the first things I noticed this time that I came. I just looked and I'm like, man, Japanese girls' butts are just not good. And it's not like they have to be like, you have to have a fat ass. Like, yeah, just look at that fat ass. No, it's not about having a fat ass. It's just about like, and excuse my nasty language, for my family that'll be watching this. I'm sorry. But, they have to have a nice shape. And it seems like, the girls here just don't even have that. I guess I've been talking about girls' butts for way too long. But that's just my opinion. I mean, there's girls that have nice butts here, but there's a lot that don't. They love rice. Japanese people love rice, and they eat a lot of it. I think the younger generation isn't eating as much rice as the older generation is. I think they're eating like a lot of hamburgers, going to McDonald's and Moe's Burger, and excuse me, going to a bunch of different places. But they do love rice. The Japanese people don't always explain things well, and I'll give you an example. In the beginning, when we first came here, we were setting up our bank accounts to be able to receive a scholarship, and now there was like 3 guys that came from the bank, and they had these forms that we had to fill out, and we were foreign exchange students, and we just got there. My Japanese isn't good now, and it sure as heck wasn't good when I first got here. It's gotten better, but they're like, alright, here's the forms, fill it out, and it's all in Japanese, good luck. So we got the forms, and we were filling it out, and then they looked at it and they're like, no, you weren't supposed to do that part yet. Alright, well, after it was 15 minutes of looking like a bunch of jackasses, and they're like, alright, let's take them back, give them new forms out. What they should have done is that they should have went step by step. Alright, everybody, we're going to do this part. Write down your name, your address, your phone number. Alright, everybody got that? Good, we all understand? Great, good. And it wasn't even like they didn't know English, because we had people there that was fluent in English that was also fluent in Japanese. So parties are awkward here. Now, in the U.S., it's common to go to a party and meet a bunch of people you don't know. Like, hello, my name's John. Nice to meet you. I'm Alan. But in Japan, that's not common. Usually, and I've heard it from a bunch of Japanese people too, that they're like, oh, it's so strange because I go to a party in America and I'll be meeting all these new people that never happens in Japan. And it's true, but except for the exchange students, because we're always meeting new people and making new friends. So it's one thing, in Japan, a lot of people know the people that they're hanging out with, but in America, you'll make new friends. But it's awkward because they'll have a lot of school parties. Like a teacher will be like, all right, all the foreign exchange students want to meet Japanese people, and then the Japanese people want to meet you, so let's have a little get together. There's free snacks and drinks. And it's really, really awkward because the Japanese want to be polite, and they don't want to make you think, because it's they give you all these different choices. No, they don't give you any. They give you one thing, and they're like, here's this, what you want. Oh, well, here's this thing. So then that way you don't have to think about it. And then it's just awkward because they don't explain things because they don't want to be rude. So they just kind of oh, well, we're gonna do this thing now, and okay. And it's really strange. I just went to a party today, and that's one of the reasons why I'm talking about it. Let me explain, though, a little bit about what I'm saying. So, I've been talking about these Japanese people, and of course, you're gonna say, Paul, you know what, that's just wrong, because you're just segregating all these Japanese people into one thing. And that's just, you know what, you're just a prejudiced bastard. But the thing is that if you come from a certain culture, it's more normal for you to do, certain things than other people would. For example, you're from Mexico, and, you're hanging out with your family, and this is, a certain food that you eat. So, of course, you would be eating, rice and tacos and burritos, and, menudo and different stuff, compared to, another family that's eating a different thing. So when you come from a different culture, you have, similar things that you do. I'm talking like this. So, that's why not everything is true exactly, but that's what I have to say, and don't make fun of me. Bye.